Okay, so thank you for everyone to coming, and we will start as usual. Maybe good to generate some pure motivation. It's very important. Motivation lead us where to go. When we start our practice or any action, good action, you need to always start with pure motivation, and then when you setting proper motivation, I think it's good to just visualize or maybe imagine that all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all enlightened being in front of us, just in front of us and looking us like, the mother's looking at their only child, and we are like the child and looking and seeking help or support from their parent. Similarly here, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattva. Here, Buddha meaning, awakened, the complete, enlightened being. And if from our very own heart that we really put trust, take them as a veneration, like source of happiness, a source of benefit, they all will come to us to, protect, help, or maybe, whatever enjoyment that we were really seeking, they will be always with us. Meaning it's not really something coming from external far away. Our own heart, our own Buddha nature can be, manifest in that way too. But as a beginner, we need external, protection, refuge. So for that, it's very important to visualize all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, meaning Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then any other enlightened being that you know, venerate them, or you take them as your, source of happiness or source of benefit. And then you are actually surrounded by all the mothers sentient beings, and you're leading the practice or the teaching that we are, try to, listen, reflect, and then, if possible, meditate, get some sort of experience, meaning some sort of movement that should take place in our mind. Okay, so maybe few minutes very silent and just create this atmosphere is like calm and peace and harmonious around us, with the blessing with the kindness and compassion of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and all the mother sentient being also. Okay, I'll just ring the bell and then meditate a few minutes, and then we start the text. Okay, so with this pure motivation, we will continue our text, and I think everybody has a copy, right? Do you have? Yeah. Yeah, I think we need to make a copy. You have one of me here. Let me see.
PDF on that website. I'll make a bunch of them.
We have copy if you need it. Yep, here goes. There's one here. Okay. This is just the outline, actually. Okay. So yeah, and I think you all know this month is very special month, right? Sagadawa in Tibetan, right? So where Buddha, oh,
I don't know.
oh, I see. Okay, very good too. Yeah, in Buddhist calendar, the lunar calendar, they call it lunar calendar. The month of the fourth month it's called Sakadawa, meaning in this month, Buddha's birth and enlightenment, and then Mahaparinirvana. All these three important dates that he did in this month. So because of that, we consider it's really, auspicious month. And if you engage into, like a virtuous activities, practice, it will multiply because of the blessing of the Buddhas. And, it's of course, it's very much depend on how you really, like how our devotion to the Buddha. But, there's always, the connection between Buddha and you. Here, Buddha meaning we have a Buddha, external Buddha, or the teachers who lead us to lead us to enlightenment. And then, in Buddha Shakyamuni, who play like there are 12 main deeds when he appear on this earth. And then out of the 12, three main activities and Buddha's deeds, we call it Buddha's deeds or Buddha's activities, he play in this month. So because of that, if he engage into this practice, it's multiply, it's become more powerful because of the external, support, and then from our, devotion or our aspiration from our hearts. So that's why, Buddhists all over the world, actually all over the world, meaning, there are majority Buddhists in Asia, but it doesn't mean that there's no Buddhists in the other part of the world. So you have people who have, who inspire with the teaching of the Buddha, could be in Europe, could be in America, could be in anywhere, It's really someone who really find, really inspiring thing that's really benefit your mind, transform your mind, from the teaching of the Buddhas. So you don't have to make any ceremonial sort of ritual to, engage in this practice. So we don't have to say that I want to become a Buddhist. No, not necessarily you need to say that you need to become a Buddhist. It's not really transform into Buddhism, like convert into Buddhism. Meaning just try to learn what the Buddha said and then check how that really work and how that really help for us. So because of that, I guess, all over the, Buddhists across the world celebrate the Buddha's, enlightenment month. And there's a lot of celebration going on in America and Europe too. And in Asia, you do a lot of things. When they celebrate, there are many different activities you can do. Main thing is maybe, listening the teaching and then reflect the teaching and try to implement in our day-to-day life is more important. And then when you do have some celebration, like a festival sort of dance in a song and sing a song that, like in the form of song, but it's chanting, and then dancing also they do, and then they do a lot of ritual practices, do offering thing, and generous be practice in generosity, giving, like food or clothes or whatever you want to those who are in need. They do a lot of these things, and then, often people offer like a, what do you call, butter lamp. Butter lamp, the lamp actually is symbolize wisdom. light. So it's dispel the darkness, it's external world where you switch on the light or lit the butter lamp. It's eliminate the darkness immediately, right?
Pana.
Oh, I don't know
Pana.
about Pana. Okay,
Yes.
it's
Pana,
wisdom.
Sila,
Okay,
and
that's
Samadhi.
yeah, the three training, right? I think it's Pali, right? I'm not that
Yes,
good in
Pali.
Pali.
That's the
I'm not
Pali
that good in
side.
Pali. I know Tibetan and then my broken
That's
English.
good.
Yeah, and then Tibetan version of Buddhism is more connected with the Sanskrit tradition. So which meaning in it, most of the teaching that translating into Tibetan language from Sanskrit. So, and there are people who learn, like a Pali also, and I also have some experience for traveling in the, like countries where the Pali tradition or the teaching that you can find in Pali language, like a
Sri Lanka.
Pali, they call it a Pali tradition. I don't know how could you really make this, like Sri Lanka, Thailand, Burma, Laos, and then there are quite large number, in like a Theravada. Another ways, another word you use, Theravada tradition. Theravada tradition, a Mahayana tradition, a Vajrayana tradition. But they are all like a stair, okay? If you want to climb up to the, rooftop, you just go from the first stair, second, third, like this. And the Pali tradition, which is based on the Buddha's teaching, first turning the wheel of Dharma. This is what we believe. But there are some scholar who does some research about how this Buddhist teaching evolved from India and how this went to different parts of the world. You know, when you do this research, I guess you have to go with the history. And then from history, we can learn a lot. The history or the biography of different teachers after Buddha. So the teaching carry his follower. So there are non like 80 Mahasiddha in India. Have you heard these things? 80, 80, 80 Mahasiddhas. And then 17 Nalanda masters. And we said when we were little, we heard this kind of story. The 80 Mahasiddha in India, after Buddha went to like enlightenment, his follower, there are numbers of the followers in the history that you can find that who carry his work to continue to teach, practice. And then they said 80 Mahasiddhas. Yes.
So is Mahasiddha basically the same meaning as disciple?
Disciple, practitioner, yes. Mahasiddha, I guess more they if you go into pilgrimage in India, you can find their story. But very accurate sort of story. I'm not sure whether we really have in Sanskrit or the Hindi language not, but in Tibetan language you can find it because in the earlier time they translated to because Buddhism declined in India really kind of badly. But now actually there's some kind of revival movement going on. Many young Indians who are very much into it and they have this their brain is really, I mean brain means mind. They're a great thinker. Just last week I was at the Graceland Institute where we have the Mind and Life Summer Research Institute, and there were numbers of Indians were there, and many of them actually 5 6 of them I met in India, and they are actually learning the Nalanda International Studies from Delhi. And one guy actually he's just always meditating, and then he put this question so deep, so it's good. Not only just Indian, but there's wonderful people are there. They all, the topic is reimagining contemplatives and the collective future, which is really important. Thinking this thing, people, great mind people, thinking about how can you really educate our people, our children, more, connected with the contemplative practice. Then they were saying like the modern education setting is more like a job oriented education or money oriented education. We need to do some revolution here from school, from kindergarten school to like university level. Maybe you need to teach some values of the human values rather than, oh, you need to study hard, you need to get the best score. And then if you the teacher or the parent encourages the children like that way, And then the children also could get some kind of competitive mind. Study was so hard to get like a high score, like number one, number two, whatever in this thing. And there was one teacher, actually, lady teacher. She was really, if someone who have not, obtained like a good score, they are not treating them like a student. What was that? They decided to do something. They're not going to tell. They are not going to count these students as who have done their study and did the exam. Meaning they're not really counting as a student at all. And it makes so difficult, so hard. How we should put more extra attention. Those are most vulnerable people, meaning those who are really in need. Score, sometimes corruption thing happen too, right? People, even though they haven't done good job, they do. I don't know. There is some questionable things out there. Anyway, it was really nice gathering, beautiful gathering. So anyway, so why we are talking this?
What
What would
to the three trainings then in
what was that?
Tibetan, what would be the Tibetan analogs to the three trainings?
Three
Papa,
training-
Sila, and Samadhi?
Ethical discipline, meditative concentration, and wisdom.
Right.
And then Tibetan word, you mean?
Yes.
In Tibetan word is like lapa, sultum gi lapa, tingin gi lapa, sherep gi lapa. Lapa means training.
Okay.
The Tibetan word, lapa tingin zingila, lapa sum, denu sum. You call like three pitakas, the three teaching. The teaching of the Buddhas could be in three categories. Teaching on ethical discipline, teaching on meditative concentration, and then teaching on wisdom or knowledge. Okay, so lapa sultim ki lapa in Tibetan. Sultim means discipline, ethical discipline, the ethic of mind, body, and speech. So there are 10, like virtuous action that you need to engage for anybody who, as a human beings, even animals have some, like a discipline, right? When they walk, you could walk, you could observe some bird or like some when they are walking around, they have some sort of rules actually sometimes. But anyway, these three are the three higher training. We call it three higher training: ethical discipline, meditative concentration or samadhi, and then wisdom. Yeah. I don't know about. I'm not that good at. I'm sorry, but
That analog be for Pana.
Pana,
Wisdom.
Prajna, Gyan, Shil, Samadhi. Okay, I can't tell you this Sanskrit. Shil, Samadhi, Gyan. Have you heard that? Shila, Samadhi,
Yes.
Gyan. Gyan is wisdom, or Gyan means knowledge. The Sanskrit
Okay.
word. Shil, Samadhi, Gyan. Shila, Samadhi, Gyan. I think it's Hindi or Sanskrit. Hindi and Sanskrit are quite similar. Yeah. Okay. So let's do our few verses. We need to do some verses from the 37 practice of the, Bodhisattva. And I think we finish. We didn't finish much, just few verses. Now we are on the verse number 5. So the verse number 5 is about, if you accompany with the wrong people or the bad companion, then the, three poison, the three negativities of our mind can increase. And if you, accompany with the good people, then your virtuous action, compassion, patience, and, like ethical discipline, concentration, these will increase. This is the verse's name, sorry, the verse's meaning, I think. Let's see at the verse number 5 where you say, when you keep there mean, like bad company, companion, meaning wrong friends. So then you have to make sure that whom are wrong friend, who wrong friend, who is a good friends. And when you're talking about compassion, then we should try to extend our compassion for equally, right? But the thing is, for beginner, especially ordinary people, we need to make sure that we are confident enough to reach out those some people who are, I mean, people or beings who have little kind of rough sort of nature in a way, get so angry easily, and if you try to help or try to say something, they are not able to take as like kind of as a gesture of helping them. Instead of taking them and helping them, they may get, why she's doing to me, I am confident, I can do myself. Arrogant or whatever this mental kind of attitude they have, they may not really easily accept it. So we have to be really careful, watch, not really but judgmental in negatively, but just try to make sure that bodhisattvas, when you try to engage into the bodhisattva action, we always have to be very skillful. Skillful means very important. Skillful means just try to look for the overall picture of the other people. Of course, it's not easy to get, if easily. It's not easy to get, to read other people's needs, because but if you spend time over like days, weeks, months, and then more or less we can tell, I'm pretty sure that what she need, I can do this. And then you certain the time they like their body language could tell that, looks like today if I try to say something, try to help her and him something, probably it doesn't work. So maybe I'll better wait. So that these are the skillful men you need to pray. So here wrong people meaning, of course, this bodhisattvas practice, meaning, practice with compassion. You need to pay extra attention to those are most needed, most vulnerable one. But then who are the most vulnerable one? If someone is getting so angry all the time, they are the most vulnerable one actually in reality. But then it all the whole circumstances need to be there. The causes condition need to be there. We have to wait until not neglect, not really discard from heart, but action wise, wait a little bit, just slow down and go step by step. We have to make like move step by step, not really jump. There's the one kind of a story. Have you heard that? An animal, what was a wolf in the wolf, and then the tiger. Tiger can jump quite far, I think. And then by judging that tiger can jump from here to there quite easily, and then the wolf, mimic that, maybe the wolf could break their leg. And those who are really skilled person who can athlete, for example, they can jump or they can swim very easily. And then someone who have no idea about how to swim, how to jump, and then if you just say, oh, he's a person who can jump, can swim that way, why not me? I'm also a human being. I can do that too. If you just jump, maybe you drown and kill you, right? So that's why the skillful mean is really important. So yeah, who is bad companion, who is not good companion? We need to make sure that who. At the beginning level, someone here you can take bad companion could be like those who are engaging all the time wrong thing, drinking, indulging all this, like a not healthy thing all the time. Maybe better to stay away these people. But from deep down, just be compassionate. This thing like may him or her to get something better, to live their life, more harmonious, more compassionate, more, understanding. Yeah, from your heart keep that way, but physically just stay a little bit not distant, but meaning I guess sometimes you have to be stay distant too. At the beginning level it's better to stay distant. If you engage with it, if you just continue to hang out with them, somehow we may can adopt that kind of attitude too. Then we will the all both will be drowning into the pool instead of swim kind of skillfully. So that make the differentiation. And but not really criticizes that people just don't tell this, that's so he's so bad, she's so bad, and then you just do not really elaborate or this imputed the negativity of that person. No, if you do that, our own negativity also increase again. When you keep their company, yes.
just repeat what the three poisons are?
Okay. The three poison are the attachment, aversion, ignorance. Attachment, aversion, or hatred. Sometimes you could use a hatred and ignorance. And attachment, any form of attachment for us that disturb our mind. Attached to too much attachment is actually the just grasp. They rooted by ignorance, not knowing the situation clearly, not knowing the reality, as it is, and then you so much attach. And then because of that, then when you do not really get what you want, then you get upset, and we get upset, and then we create so many drama. And then hatred, you know looking at the person or an object and checking that, imputing their qualities and negative qualities, just thinking that person is 100% bad or this person 100% good. There's no one, other than Buddha, no one is perfect, right? How do you really know that you can say this guy or that guy is perfect and this or that guy is so bad? There's so much involvements are there, so that's why you have to keep really open-minded, and then our expanding our knowledge will be very important. So attachment, aversion or hatred, and the ignorance. So these three could increase. So these three increase, then the whole trouble will come. Three poison. They are like poison. If this, not just the poison, the root of the poison. And then you could have if you have the seed or the root of the poison, then the branches, the leaves, and the trees, fruit, and everything could, come to being, right? And then our mind go like completely crazy. If that go, then, in a house, there will be no kind of, friendly or peaceful or harmonious kind of atmosphere. It will be difficult again. So main thing is to try to check with our emotion how this emotion really trigger, and then with this arising in, just observe and aware this is happening, and whenever some sort of this emotion arise, try to just aware immediately, and then think that I'm in danger now. I should minimize this, decrease this. And then, you have to just follow, you apply the wisdom. And the opposite three, attachment, aversion, and hatred, the opposite, non-attachment, detach, and then a hatred, like a loving kindness. Yeah, I don't know. And the ignorance, wisdom. Wisdom in knowing the whole situation, knowledge, increase your, sharpening your mind, sharpening your, wisdom. So yeah. Okay, what is that? When you keep their company, your three poison increase. You need to just make sure there's three poison: attachment, aversion, and ignorance. And then try to learn about what is ignorance, not knowing the whole situation clearly. This is very rough, it's a gross kind of explanation, but you can go in deeper that. It's not easy to, identify ignorance straight away. The very meaning of ignorance, not knowing the situation clearly. Okay, ignorance. And attachment, exaggerating the quality of the object, and then you think that's mine and me, and that's because of that you cling so much tightly. And then hatred, just checking, seeing that person or the human, nothing is good there, and exaggerating the quality of bad quality. It's just imputing too many qualities. She did that. There's actually three ways there. She or he hurt me in the past, and he or he is hurting me now, and he or she may hurt in the future. And these three, our mind react like that way, and because of that, hatred increase. And then, he or she benefit me because of me. Me means selfish reason in a way, not thinking other people, but selfish reason, because he or she helped me in the past, or maybe he or she is helping now, and he or she will help me for the future. In reality, they are, helping and hurting happening all the time, but we are exaggerating the qualities. Attachment and aversion, we're really exaggerating the qualities of the object, and because of that, the intensity of the hatred, intensity of the attachment and intensity of the ignorance, becomes stronger. And because of that, then our mind completely destroyed, like it more like a distorted or stirred up, and then we won't have like a good smile. Yeah. When you keep the accompany, your three poison increase, and then because of that, your activities of hearing. Here, hearing means studying and listening, hearing, thinking, meaning reflecting, and meditating, decline. If you do this, and you will decline. And they make you lose your love and compassion. If these increase and the practice, studying, reflecting, and then meditating decline, then what will happen? Our good qualities, our values, valuable qualities of the mind will, and they will make you lose. Lose meaning it will decline. And if you allow compassion and patient decline, then we won't be good human being. We will be little ugly person. We will become ugly person. Maybe the physically ugly, and also the mind. The main thing is the mind will become ugly. It's just a word, just a term. You can take in deeper meaning, deeper kind of you can have another word other than instead of ugly, but I'm calling it ugly because, yeah, if you have full of attachment, full of aversion, full of jealousy, yeah, our mind is really like ugly, right? It's dirty. It is dirty. So then same thing, external thing is dirty. Nobody want to keep it, right? It's just, put in the garbage. So, these are poison. We should put in the garbage. Meaning we can't really take it and put it in garbage. How do you really, put it in the garbage? By applying by applying the remedies here: compassion, loving kindness, patience, the three high training, we were talking about that. Shil, Samadhi, Gyan, ethical discipline, and meditative concentration, and then wisdom. These three apply. So main three, and there are many more, of course, right? And they make you lose your love and compassion. So because of that, give up bad friends. This friend who influence you to increase these three poison. Maybe discard these people, meaning just stay distant from them, but from deep down, try to reach out or caring and compassionate thinking, because he or she is suffering in a way, definitely. But because of some circumstances, it's not really making him or her to come toward this direction. So I pray that some days, or maybe as soon as possible, just follow this path from deep down. But since if you are not really, sometimes that there's compassion fatigue. Have you heard that? This happened. There's especially like psychologists, counselor, people who work with these very difficult people. You get overwhelmed, definitely. But then when you get overwhelmed yourself, then you need to make sure yourself in safe first, not with this selfish kind of motivation, but in reality, practically. So because of that, Bodhisattva's practice is always very, like a skillful and practical. You have to make really practical. Yeah. Give up bad friends. This is the practice of Bodhisattva. So because of that, a beginner practitioner, the people who you have you to deal, and then the place where you meditate, it's very important. It's called a conducive, like a place, very isolated, meaning free of so many disturbances, external disturbances. For example, we can make this kind of a, like a checking out, investigate out. If, for example, if you remain in like a very big city, let's say there's like a nightclub going on all the time, for example, next door, and they're playing kind of really radical sort of music all the time, and people are like just engaging into drinking, singing, songing, whatever, doesn't really bring contentment in your mind. You can do like a peace of mind or harmonious mind. If you remain that area for a long time, what will happen? You go crazy, right? So then you need this kind of place where you could have very peaceful with nature, animals, trees, flowers, whatever, because we live in the nature, right? But because of this, what do you call it, illusion, sort of, external, that people often kind of create, right? If you go to like a New York City and you see this, huge building, it's so shiny sort of thing. I guess we have created that as so luxury, shiny to get some sort of comfort, right? I mean, some people get, of course, in a comfortable thing, but are you really happy in your deep down? I don't know. Some big question, right? I remember one thing. I think it's good to share. Long ago, yeah, we went to, I have a friend, and went to in Delhi to meet friends. And she said, me and my sister, she said, I have a book a hotel, so come to visit in Delhi and we will spend a few days together and we'll have a good time. And she said, I'm going to spoil you. Spoil.
Yeah.
I said, what do you mean? I didn't ask. What do you mean? I'm going to spoil you. I don't know what was the reason. And we went there, and she had booked this hotel. It's, the Sheraton Hotel, where the president or the prime minister, visit. They actually, book this hotel. Very fancy hotel, very expensive. I don't know, 5 star, 6 star, or whatever they call the name. And I think I first time in my life saw this kind of hotel where you have like a room, just 1 or 2 people, huge room, living room, toilet, bathroom, whatever, and then telephone even in the toilet here, there, whatever. I don't know what it is. There are so many things like this. And then we go to the, breakfast. It's called buffet or something. I don't know. There's so many different types of fruit and cereal. I don't know how many numbers of these things, and you have to pay like I don't know how much thousands or something, and how much space in your stomach card, right? And how much you need to eat. And no matter whether you know how much you need to eat or not, you have to pay for it, right? For 3 days we stay like that. And my sister said, it's so funny. And I said, why? I was also like, mind deep down, it's not that happy. Why you're staying in this kind of thing? There's swimming pool here and there's sauna here. I don't know why. Why do you really need it? This?
The city is about the senses.
Yeah, the senses. That's the why. I guess it serves some certain comfort for the sensory pleasure or the sensory consciousness or the physical body comfort. Yeah, definitely. No, but I think it's a really good lesson for me. And then thing is we check. It's not just remain in this kind of a fancy hotel, but we also went to like the street, the other side of the street where you could go with so many people who are some rickshaw pulling in India. This they have we call it the rickshaw. Human who just with two with one wheel, and then they pull people for their daily kind of income, like 50 rupees, 60 rupees sort of thing. And then it's a market where you have so many people are really congested, and then the food or clothing, whatever they are selling. And it's kind of, physically, it looks a little dirty things there too. But we walk this area too. Just try to match this too. You try to understand this external thing, how much this really give you, good satisfaction. It was a good lesson. And then, the last day when we were, departing, like checking out from the hotel, and we went to the desk and they said, and she's not showing the bill. Don't look at it. Don't look there. Because yeah, I think for 3 people staying in this hotel for 3 days or something, I don't know how many lakhs rupees they paid. And they don't, and then from my heart, we should have used that money for something else. you know, for 3 days, couple lakhs, rupees spending. Whether she was able to spoil me or not, I don't think so. But but we learned a lesson. We really learned a lesson. She's really good, actually. She go to the ashram and go this, yoga practice, and it's really good. It's got a great mind. But making this comparison between these two, it's a lesson in a way. It's a really good lesson. When the Buddha Shakyamuni, when he was in Prince Dat, when he was known as Prince Dat, when he was in the palace, he have everything what he need, external comfort, but from deep down, his mind wasn't that, what do you call it? He was not really taking them as kind of, you know, comfort or last sort of happiness or last sort of need for you. But anyway, these are some example, and I'm sure everybody have this kind of experience, right? If our mind is satisfied with what you have, and then often so many teachers said, just be happy what you have, and don't kind of wonder, what is that? Don't get lost. No, don't wonder for the, do not really think too much about the past, and you do not get lost into the future. Be present, and what we got is the present. Past is already finished, over. It won't come back again. Tomorrow yet to come. So today, what we got, use it for the maximum, way to bring something, satisfaction, something good for our life as well as others. So that's kind of a skillful way to train ourselves. Yeah, so here we have to just make the make the differentiation of whom's are bad companion, whom are good companion. If someone, if you hang out with these people, your, mind, more loving, more caring, more compassionate, more resilient, more, like what expanding your knowledge, you're expanding your way of thinking, taking out this narrow-minded. If it is increasing, then try to, accompany with them. If these poison things are increasing and your mind becoming more kind of diluted, more, like a narrow-minded, then maybe better stay away these people. Yeah, that's the main, I think, like this distinction. But from deep down, try to be just equal. Equanimity is the main thing. We have to, Bodhisattva, meaning that I want to become like the Buddha, to benefit for all beings. So especially you have to pray for those who are really cruelty people. You have to really pray for, if you see, maybe in reality whether that person is cruelty or not, you never know either. Sometimes it's because of our ignorance we create that image of cruelty. Maybe that person is trying to their best to do something good for others. You never know, because we are not really able our mind is not really able to know the whole situation, in a way, because of ignorance, because of our limitation, right? So what time are we are? Okay, 10. I'll just read the next. And verse number 6. So yeah, verse number 6, when you rely on them, your faults come to end and your good qualities grow like the waxing moon. Cherish your spiritual teachers even more than your own body. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. It's beautiful, no? When you rely on them, rely meaning is you are kind of inferior, that the others are in your superior. It's meaning if you depend on me, if you accompany on those people, and if your faults decrease and then the qualities increase, right? Faults meaning, we need to identify what are the faults, what are the weaknesses of ourselves, and then by identifying the weaknesses, and then try to strengthen it, right? Your good quality, say, when you rely on them, your faults come to end means slowly will come thinner, and then one day it could be end. And your good qualities grow like waxing moon. It's beautiful, right? The waxing moon, what happened is grow, and then full moon is completely full, right? So, for example, now maybe our mind, the strength of our compassion or strength of our loving kindness or knowledge, maybe very little, but repeatedly listening, repeatedly, reflecting, repeatedly, and meditating on it, it will grow. It will grow, and it's like the waxing moon. Then one day it will become complete full, and then we are complete human being. It means, of course, we are a human being, but there's a way that we can expand our heart as much as possible. So cherish your spiritual teacher. Here, spiritual teacher meaning your friends, your family, whoever serve you to grow you in a better way. They are your spiritual teacher or spiritual friends. Okay, cherish your spiritual, cherish your friendship, those who serve you to grow you as full human beings. Cherish them. That's very important, very precious in a way. Cherish your spiritual friend even more than your own body. Why they use your own body? I think for ordinary people like us, our own body is so much cherishable, right? Our body and mind. If our body doesn't work, doesn't function as like the car and the fuel. Maybe the fuel is like the mind, and the car is your body. So, the car isn't broken, even though you pull too much kind of fuel, probably won't work. Right? You won't work as a car, right? So our body is like a car. Earlier we said like consciousness and the body. Consciousness is the guest, and then the body is the guest house, right? But this use why, you know, the guest house should be, you know, something that serves you to stay comfortably, happily. Because of that, our body is so cherishable in a way, meaning not really attached too much, but we need to keep it healthy, happy, more, like what do you call it, usable, serviceable. Our body serve for our consciousness base, right? So because of that, we cherish our body, not attachment, cherish. There's a difference between the cherish and the attachment. Attach and cherish. We need to take care of our body. So I think our body is the most important in a way, in one sense, right? Because of the way you say more than your own body. Those people, those companion who serve you to increase your quality, your values, cherish them more than your body, more than yourself, meaning your the egoistic mind or the selfishness is actually cutting or weakening. This is good, no? Everybody can accept that. We don't have to go into the lab and measure this. I mean, maybe it's good to go into the lab and measure. Why not? Into the positive thing, the good qualities, measure them, how much that can grow, how much that can influence for others, and then measure the negativity as well, and then make the comparison, and then try to minimize the negativities and increase the positivities. Probably it's good to go, but we can become our own kind of researcher, our own master. Be your own master. Have you heard this? Many teachers say be your own masters. And many of these actually is kind of first person experience. If we have like a peace of mind, more content, more, other cherishing mind increase, I definitely think it will find, like more friends. You are really easy going wherever you go. Look at his Holiness Dalai Lama. He often share his own personal, life story, how much he had to go, like at the age of 16, he got this. I mean, he's a bodhisattva in a way, but he appeared as like a normal human being to serve us. If you show with like like all this Buddha's marks and like what do you call, like 37 what? Send the page. If he show us like a real, like a Sabhoga Kaya or the Munirana Kaya, we won't be able to see him because our mind need to be removed. This negativity need to be removed. In order to be able to see the real Buddha, the disciple have to become bodhisattvas in certain level of the path. Otherwise, impossible. So because of that, bodhisattvas or Buddhas, they intentionally, meaning they have the power where to come, where to take rebirth. They intentionally come in very human form, like our own, similar to us. Then they will be able to meet these people. And some, this, of course, if you go to the subtle sort of karmic connection, there's so much rooms to discuss. But if they show like the Buddha who have this like all different marks and signs of the Buddhas, and we won't be able to see or meet or listen to him. And because of that, Buddhas appear in different forms. Sometimes they appear into like a deer form. Interesting. Bridge. Interesting, this, there's sometimes, if you read the life of the Buddha, it's called Jagata Tale. Have you heard that? Jagata Tales. It's so nice in the it's like in the form of story or the biography, and you can really much relate with our own life too. Okay, where are we now? When you rely on them, your faults come to end. Your good qualities grow like the waxing moon. Cherish others, cherish your spiritual teachers or friends even more than your own body. This is the practice of the Bodhisattvas. So the Bodhisattvas practice, we should try to like this. Try to like them, mimic them, make what is that? Fake it and make it, right? That's good actually. At the beginning we have to mimic it. We have to, try to pretend that I'm doing it. Then if you do really, that's the meaning of practice too. If you try to repeatedly do that again and again and again, and then there's a certain point that you become almost like a part of your life, part of your mind. This is the reflection and the whole, the three, and another word you call it the three wisdom. Wisdom drives through learning. Have you heard this? Maybe write down. Wisdom drives through learning or studying. Wisdom drives through reflection. Wisdom drives through meditation. So meaning wisdom drives through learning or studying, listening to the teacher or the elders about this topic again and again, and then you get some sense, yes, there's something there. If you have this kind of conviction in your mind, you may have this burn, you may are cultivating or getting, our mind, the wisdom is trending into directing toward this, understanding. And the bed they could repeatedly reflecting again and again, there's a point, it's called like a conviction or reflection, but technically go in there, it's called like a we need to study the Buddhist psychology, where explain all in detail about each one of them, the definition and the measure that you have cultivated this wisdom, and then the purpose of cultivating this wisdom. And anyway, we just try to get this much right now. Okay, I think we're 11:05. We need to go for the Buddhist festival at Reading today. I think at the beginning I said, this month is very auspicious month because of Buddhists across the world. They are celebrating the life of the Buddha. Celebrating life of the Buddha does meaning, I think we need to good to know that why we are celebrating the life of the Buddha's deeds, what he have done for the world. This this path, the practice, the teaching, more than 2,500 years ago, his teaching are still very much relevant. It's very much lively in this world. So, no matter whether we are a believer or no believer, whether you are, religious person or not religious person, whether you want to be or not, the values of the teaching, I think everybody can adapt it. Everybody can learn from this and then live with it. So because of that, then you may have many different activities. It should be good because it serve as some kind of good platform where you get more awareness about compassion, where you can get awareness about wisdom, where you get awareness about the values of this teaching, the essence of the teaching, and something really needed. Even politician, the educator, student, even in the prison, there are many people, good human, teachers who work with the prisoner to give them, comfort with their mind. And these are really good deeds, right? So celebrate with his teaching in all different forms. So this reading, the DNKL, and they do have different activities. It's good to witness that. So we will go there to participate. They have different programs, but we can participate some. So because of that, I think we stop here,
Wait, is it Litchfield? Oh, it's very.
Yeah, okay, let's dedicate this and then we'll discuss. Thank you very much, and I will stop today here. We finish the verse number 6, and then the homework. Maybe read again a few times if you find time, and then if you find these commentaries, read them, and then do some reflection whenever you find time, and it will help. definitely. So thank you. So we will just mentally dedicate and this positivity or benefiting thing that we try to create in this moment and dedicate that, and that if you dedicate that, it will multiply and it's stay lasts longer. And just a few seconds contemplate what we have speak, or what we have tried to understand about this meaning of the two verses. It's not good to company with bad or the negative friends, and then if you rely or company with the good friends, so the if you rely on negative friends, negativity increase. If you rely on good company, positivity increase, right? Just reflect that and then just make kind of pledge that I'm going to do the good one rather than the bad one. Okay, so I'll just dedicate in Tibetan one verse and I'll try to give the meaning for you, okay? Chanju semjo rinpoche, magye panam ki gyoche, kyewa nyamba me panyang gong gong to pelwar sho, meaning may the bodhicittas arisen and what is that? Arisen and grow. I mean, they cherish. What was that? Can you say the words?
The way we say this is
Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. I thought it's coming in my mind, but the bodhicitta meaning altruistic mind that grow, that arisen, grow, and not diminish. And there's not arisen and arise and increase. And then this thing that may I benefit for all sentient being forever, meaning another verse from the Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life. As long as space remain, as long as sentient being remain, may I remain and dispel the misery of the world. This is really powerful, verse. And think about this